Get moving! Come on, Terrance! Ah! Well, he's not doing very much at the moment. Come on, wake up, Thomas. Sounds like he's in destructo mode. Sometimes happens like that here. Oh. Wake up, James. Wake up. Well, there is the awesome power of Spencer. Yucky. Never leave your batteries in your good toys, boys and girls. Well, to kick off my Thomas and Friends collecting video, number 15, I think this is a perfect start. It's one of the early Tomy sets. Tomica World, set 7409, Talk and Action Magic Rail set. The licensing info is Brit Allcraft, Ghislaine Thomas 2001, so that's actually a fair time ago now. This is the first time I've been able to see one of these Tomy sets where Thomas can interact with the track. I'm quite curious about this, I hope it all works, and it's a bit of a peek into the earlier times of the Thomas and Friends franchise. So who's going to own up to having one of these sets? If you have, maybe you've got some words to say about this one. On the back of the box, it looks like this. It details what the talking track pieces do, and apparently they have actions with the train as well, I hope. There are the track parts there, which are in this play set. This here is showing you the layout that the box will make, but if you buy more boogie, wow, you'll be able to make something like this, get some road bits and some other characters, and if you want to go crazy, well, you can build something like that. And if you scrutinise that picture long enough, yes, that's totally crazy. I classify this box condition as poor. One side is heavily sun-faded, the other side's not too bad. Let's get the toy out and I'm going to try and work out what I have and have not got. Don't you love the sound of this Tomy train stuff hitting the table? Luckily for me, the constructions are with this playset, so that may help me build this one up. But curiously, I noticed there are some custom markings on some of these track pieces, so maybe that's going to help me as well. Well, it looks like it has been some time since this has been up and running. There is a fair bit of dust which is collected on this. Clarabel looks like she has seen better days. Can you see that she's sort of been stood on by the looks of it? At one end is a crack there. I might have to fix her up. It looks like that is fixable. Annie is the battery cover on the back here, which powers this very, very different Tomy Thomas. And I think the thing to look out for here is, well, on first appraisal it looks like it's in pretty good nick, but so often if you look in here you may see dust and stuff caught up around the wheels and the gears. It actually doesn't look too bad. The battery is a bit sneaky. There's a sneaky battery AA1 there, and on top there's two there, so it's 3 AA batteries to power this Thomas. And one part of the instructions replicates basically what was said on the box, and if I open it up here, the mystery to why bits of track were marked starts to be revealed. So it looks like they've come in and put their own custom markings on the track. I don't know exactly why. What I'll do is I'll basically clean all this up, take the dust off this, and I'll get it up and running. Okay, well, it's a bit of a reminder to us all. Back in the good old days, train sets used to be a fair bit larger than what you get served today. I've only got part of the playset made up. There's more track there. I could have made the whole thing. I've had to wrap tape around the battery here to make the battery fit, because the part that I'm missing is the battery cover for the bottom here. Now that I've seen the track, I dare say the thing underneath Thomas basically reads this like Braille, and then it lets the engine know what to say. I think that's how this works. So there's under Thomas, that's the piece that would be reading the track, and I think that metal there is just a piece of weight to keep Thomas pinned down on the track as he's reading that Braille. Well, okay, I will get Thomas kicking off on a clear bit of track, and we will connect Clarabel to Annie as well. We can't have them not connected. Next thing to do is turn Thomas on.
Here we go.
Well, he's not doing very much at the moment. Come on, wake up, Thomas. Maybe this Thomas is a little bit tired. Well, let's check out what's going on. Well, let's take a look at what's going on here. Oh, it takes nothing to stop that wheel. There's no power in this. It's going to be up in the gearbox, this problem. Looks like somebody's already tried to pull this one apart. Well, I'm sort of thinking, he's talkative, isn't he? Toot toot, yes, peep peep Thomas. I will have to come back to looking in the internals of this in another video, because it would just chew up this whole video, I'm sure. There's a couple of older Tomy ones that I've got to fix. Maybe I can make a video about that. I'm sure there'll be people out there who've got a very similar problem to this. They would have recognised that sort of fault. But what I'd like to do is just show you the track features and how that there works on the track. Sadly, a lot of the stickers are, well, they're sort of gone there, so it becomes a mystery. Well, there's a peep peep there. I have to run Thomas over these to work out what they do. Well, I'm going to try this one here. I'll just push him along. Okay, he stopped. And he would have taken off again if he worked. Looks like at a bit of a higher speed. Well, there's the next one. It's a peep peep. Here's another one on the other side of the track. I've got no idea what that is. Whatever it is, it sounds like super chugging. Anyone know that one there? Snap out of it, Thomas. Put you over another one. Oh, that's the brakes. Oh, goodness, it's like he's out of control. This is crazy. This Thomas has gone mad. Okay, this Thomas has got some serious problems. Serious. Well, let's move him along. Remember, you can push these runs along, not like today's Trackmaster 2, through the Tomy tunnel. We had a derailment. We'll get up to the next track, sound, whatever it is. Here we go. Oh, he hurries up, the looks of it. Okay, and there's one more to look at here. Just comes to a stop. It'd be a station stop. And even those Thomas has seen better days, you can still play with it by pushing the toy around. Many children enjoy playing with these trains like this. Unfortunately, Trackmaster 2 of today, well, that ability has been flushed away. I get worried when he's doing this. I better turn him off. It sounds like he's in Destructo mode. I've had a peep on eBay, look for these playsets. There are a couple for sale. They are between £30 to £35. The one in box here is £35, and in US dollars you're looking at about $50 US. But the cost killer would be the international postage, which could add another $20 to $30 US on to the already $50 US price. And maybe that's why we see so often postage not specified. And I see another one here, same playset, £23, and that's about 34 American dollars. Be careful with this one. It has no box, but there's something a little bit different I can see here. The track and Thomas and everything looks in good nick. There's the tunnel piece. There's the track piece there. I don't think that's the right station. Oh, we love a Thomas and Friends mystery. This is certainly one of them. Looking over the playset here, I'm missing the trees, I've just realised. But I'm sure my audience will be able to tell me whether this playset came with a station like that. Oh, looking on eBay, there's lots and lots of what we classify this earlier Tomy Thomas stuff. People say, well, it's rare, it's rare. Well, no, it's not. I like this Thomas because I haven't got one of these ones that talks to the track like this. So as a Thomas collector, it's my first one, and he'll be a cherished one for me. This station piece is rather nice. Let's take a look at the date underneath here, because seeing that other playset online with the other station has me a little bit spooked. Or in the Wayback Machine, there's Tomy 1996, made in Thailand, and Brit Oldcraft Thomas Limited 1996. That's way earlier than the date that was on the box, which was 2001. And apart from the very clever Talking Thomas, I think this Farquhar station piece is a beautiful thing to own. You just do not see things like this today in the Thomas and Friends realm. Well, for me, it was really nice to see this system. First time I've seen it, I'm really happy I've got one of these Thomases. There are some excellent Tomy pieces in this playset. The boxes over there, I'll pack it back away. The next playset we're going to take a look at in this video. Besides in here, it's one of these ones, if there's one piece missing, well, it's sort of useless. It is the Tomy Big Loader. That's one of these playsets that I categorise as being a must-have if you're a bit of a Thomas fan. Just make sure you've got a real one, not one of the knockoffs. That's the knockoffs are extremely similar to the real one. Oh, it's got balls escaping on me. Woohoo! Well, it's pretty rare to find the balls of these sets. That's what always seems to be missing. But there's an extra thing here. What is that? Like some sort of hairdryer. And what is that? It's a bit of rubbish, isn't it? Well, that's a weird one if ever I've seen. Yeah, sometimes the strangest things get caught up here. It's got this thing on the back that flips back. Weird, weird, weird. Well, I've got Thomas Percy's here. Terrance is also here. That's a good sign. This is the main core of this toy. I've spoken about this toy quite a few times on my channel. I said it's still got a battery in it. Hey, it works. It seems to have good power. Just give me a moment to build the playset up. There's instructions there. Well, surprise, surprise, the whole playset is there. It's in actually very, very good condition. The stickers have been put on correctly as well. I've got 8 of the balls there. I think it's meant to have 12. Tricky toys to work out the date on because you'll see various dates. These components here have 2002. It's well worth checking up inside if you've bought one of these online to make sure you've got the Thomas one. The clone sets basically look identical. It's very easy to be fooled. The dates are up inside there. The licensing date on the instructions is 2004. This core of the playset, which is the power plant, is so important. When it stops and goes wrong, well, the playset it becomes useless. Often they've got a date of 1977 on there. And it's one of these things that you've got to check them to see if they've got a bit of power in the wheels. Even though the batteries in this one are a bit old, you also got to check the battery area. Oh, it's got ever-ready gold. We've had a flash of them through here, haven't we? And it looks nice and clean. Okay, so that's one very important aspect to look at. And just getting in closer, the other very important aspect is, and you can see a problem there, there's dust that accumulates on these toys. And I might have to get a nice, very, very stiff brush to get rid of this dust and pick it out. I have also noticed, but mainly on the cheaper knockoff ones, that the traction tyres will spin on the wheels. This toy really relies on the traction tyres to do the job that it does. Sometimes there'll be little mechanical flaws as well if it's a well-used toy. This switch here changes the direction of the toy. It's a very important thing to have working as well. But it's one of those toys that this piece here is where the magic happens. Okay, I've got the balls over in the back hopper there. We're going to trigger off a series of events here that could cause confusion and delay. Turn it on. Hopefully got it going in the right direction. Percy's on his way. Oh yeah! And he's going to do the balls. Go Percy! Then he's going to dump the balls there. The balls go down to Terrance's spot there. Percy races back, swaps over to Thomas. Thomas is a hero. Comes along and Terrance gets powered up. The balls get pushed along. And yeah, there's a couple of adjustments. Anyway, Thomas then takes, well, does a double take here. And a double take because he's got to turn around, doesn't he? Yeah. And then he goes up here with nothing because Terrance failed. And then Thomas comes back here and I think the whole process starts over again. Yay! And you could sort of watch this all day long. There's a few more balls there. It's going to fail, isn't it? Terrance is going to fail us. Double checking how Terrance fails us. Yep, Terrance is a fail. Come on, Terrance, don't do this to us. What's going on here? I don't like the look of that. Come on, get moving. Come on, Terrance. Ah! Ah! I have to come in and rescue this. Take it off on me. Hopefully, just by seeing that, it does work, this playset. You can see the fun and absolute Thomas thrills you can have with a toy like this. Well, to be fair to Terrance, let's just see if he works properly again. I've got Thomas preset back to here. Okay, trying to see Terrance do his job properly now. Come on, Terrance. Playing hard to get, aren't we? There's a repeat button here. Oh, he's getting there. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Ah, fail, fail, fail. Well, that's the fun of the playset sometimes. Well, it doesn't work out as perfect as it should. Terrance, you're a total embarrassment to the family. Let's move on. Push that over there. A little bit of fine adjusting and it'll be perfectly fine. The next thing we're going to take a look at is all this train boogie in here. Okay, it's a pullback James. It looks like it's had a fair bit of what I call a Thomas love. Looking around the model here, Tomy 2004 underneath there. It's a model that you pulled back. We've seen a few of these over the years. This one's feeling a bit tight, I think. And it makes a noise like that if you lift it up. It's a toy that relies on a traction tyre of sorts, and this one's got all hard, as they do when they get a bit older. It's also got features where, well, I think the eyes are meant to move, but I don't think this one's working. Wake up, James. Wake up. If I come with a dental probe, maybe I'll get his eyes to work. Scary looking, isn't it? Dental probes and eyes. No, I think the eyes are broken on this one. Quite like these toys, had quite a few of them come through. I'll let James chug away, have a rest over there next to the Big Loader set. The next one we're going to take a look at is this all-metal powered wooden James. Oh, just having a hand appraisal of this toy. It's had a bit of play. It's got a very happy Jamesy face. No tender. It's not working at the moment. Let me open it up and see what battery's inside. Yep. Yeah, you can either love or hate this style. They're always a bit tough to get open, aren't they? Oh. The Black Death is honest, and it has leaked a lot. Oh, this is badly damaged, this train. Look at that. How many times have we been talking about this? Yeah, this may have gone a little bit too far. If we take a look at the battery here, this is one of the worst that I've seen. And you can see part of the spring has basically welded itself onto the battery there. Yucky. Never leave your batteries in your good toys, boys and girls. This may well be too far gone to get going again. I will try to put a battery in this, but I don't like my chances. I don't like my chances at all. Well, I've given that battery terminal there a good file. The spring is totally missing. If I put a battery in here, it would normally reside like that, but of course the spring's missing. But just to test this train, the dental probe will make the connection for us. I'll just make something very simple to fill that gap. Well, here's my crude fix. Oh, I've got a washer there. It's about the same size as the back of the battery there. Well, there's a pair of pliers there. I'm going to put the washer inside the pliers like so. I'm going to get some needle nose pliers and I'm going to put a bit of a bend in this washer. Okay, so there is my washer and it's got quite a sizable bend in it. Guess what happens next? Well, I'm going to come in and I'm going to put the V shape down there so it's touching the metal hopefully, and then I'm going to try and squeeze the battery in. And this is the part where I slip the battery in. Just looking beside camera here because it's impossible to work down through it, and if I push hard enough I think we've got a winner there. So as crude as this looks, the bent washer in there replaces the spring that was corroded away. And best of all, James gets to live another day. Yeah. Ooh, go James, nice and powerful. Amazing what damage batteries do, isn't it? But in the end, it was actually quite easy to fix. A bit of a washer, put a bit of a bend in it, and James is ready to go again. It would only be fair to let James retire after that repair, and we're going to take a look at these battery-powered trains next. Okay, this first one here, I think this is just a generic wooden railway powered one at that. It's got traction tyres on there. Let's take a read of this. If that means anything to you, please let me know. But I'll be quite honest here, to me it feels like a bit of a Brio rip. It's got the switch on the top there, little driver, which is sort of cute. But one thing to this train was, initially to me it was a bit of a mystery how to open it up. I see someone has already tried to pry it open here, but then like some other branded toys, it's got a screw down the funnel here. Voila! And reveals the battery compartment. And it's got a mystery sticker here. I wonder what this says. Oh, it's one of those quality pass stickers. It takes a AAA battery. We wonder if it works. Wake up. Little blue gem, wake up. Maybe that's why I was on the scrap heap. I've tried everything to make this work. The battery terminals are nice and clean. Buy cheap, buy twice. Maybe that's the lesson that we're learning here, because I don't think that would have been an expensive toy. Let's move on to something which I think may prove to be a winner. Okay, we'll do the little green one here. Now I only showed the blue one because there's a lot of similarities in that little generic blue one to this Brio engine here. Looks like it's got a light on the front. It looks pretty better than beating around, doesn't it? Look at these back wheels here. Okay, let me try and get a battery into this one. Very similar to that little blue nightmare I just had on. And the battery compartment is in here. And I think the battery compartment has seen far better days. It's all rusted up in that spring. Well, I'll be honest here, I think that damage on the spring is just too far to repair. Well, from what I can see, the spring in there has basically just disintegrated. I don't think there's much chance of getting the screen one working. No, sadly, that one's too far gone. Good lessons here about what batteries do to toys, isn't it? Let's try the yellow guy. Well, this is nice. Brio is actually expensive in Australia. Once again, it's reminding me of that little blue one we looked at. I can't see any dates in this. Maybe it's hidden away inside. I'm not that familiar with the Brio toy. Let me check out what's going on in here. I was fearful to see what's inside. What is that thing there? Whatever it wasn't doing anything. Let's try. So, at least it looks pretty clean. Then let's try another battery. Okay, lucky here that we're not corroded up. Okay, let's see if it works. Yo, finally got action. Oh, there's a bit of power. It doesn't seem very sprightly. Anyway, I'll get the lid back on. See how it looks when it's moving. Well, okay, there it is. Well, it's not very sprightly, is it? I've also got a piece of wagon here. Brio Wagon. Let's connect that on and let's just let it go to screen and we'll look at something else. We'll take a look at the wooden goodness here. Henry's first. Okay, the wheel dates on Henry Tomy, it's 2003. It has got a fair bit of edge wear. That's the love we like to see. This toy has had a great life with someone. It's also got another very fascinating feature that I don't often see on the wooden railway. The fact that the boiler there is loose. Now, these toys are pretty hard to make loose, I can tell you. They're built very well. I don't know much about the Thomas Wooden Railway toys. My son really didn't get into them until very late. He turned about 5 and then he started getting heavily interested in these and making layouts of wooden track. Yeah, there'd be lots of people out there who love Henry and love the wooden railway system and know all about this and know the good era versus the bad era. Take a quick look at the tender here. But I don't mind seeing edge wear and stuff. In fact, in a funny way, I almost prefer that. But this is sort of classic toys which just go on for basically generations and generations. Oh, watch out, Henry! Mavis is about to crash the party. This Mavis is beautiful and the year date on this girl is 2000. Okay, a bit of edge wear going on. Is that called the Widow's Peak? I heard Henry on Crimson talk about this feature in the back here called the Widow's Peak. I didn't know it had a name. All I know is that the earlier stuff seems to have that. People talk about different magnets on different eras as well. I don't know which is which. I mean, I'm not going to even try to sound like an expert. I do like the face. And the main reason why you'll get into the earlier wooden stuff is because we have the faces that are classic looking. That's what's so good about it. Yeah, it's nice. There is a bit of plastic in this model. That skirt area down there. I hope that's the right name. Bit of a surprise, but I know a lot of people chase after the earlier wooden stuff because basically it's just classic. The next one we're going to take a look at is a 2001 Annie. Bit of edge wear. Look, I don't mind that at all. Don't ever let that deter you buying one of these models because that shows the love, and these toys I think have far more character when they've got edge wear going on them. Can you tell me any more about that era of 2001 Annies? And Thomas is coming up next. Haven't got Clarabel. Okay, here's Thomas. Again, we've got a bit of edge wear going on. There's another one I've got, which is far more edge wear. And this is 2003. Although maybe lots of you out there would have just seen the face and the way this is built could have told me that. But wasn't there a date that they said they just basically froze the dates and it stayed that year forever? Was it 2003? I think it was. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But, you know, you buy the good toys, it doesn't fall apart. Of course, it says Thomas underneath there. The dates are actually up on the wheels. I keep mentioning that, but many people wouldn't know that because everyone's got to learn, don't they? For a while there, I didn't know how it worked, but a couple of interesting scratches down the side there. Thomas has had a lot of play, a lot of love, and hey, that's what it's all about. So sure, there's Thomas, and he's had all the signs of love and attention somewhere in his life for someone else. And here comes a 2003 Alfie, and Alfie, well, isn't showing much love at all. In fact, Alfie looks near pristine. A little bit of wear, but basically had very little play. I was surprised how much plastic is in this model. All this is plastic, all that is plastic, the wheels. The only wood is this side here, okay, and the part down here which connects the wheels. Even that middle bit there is a piece of plastic, I think. Yeah, way too much plastic in that for my liking, but hey, that's the way it seems to have gone. I'll knock over a couple of quickies. First up, there is this very nice piece of wooden railway rolling stock. I don't think it's got a brand name, well, not that I can see. It's probably hidden away somewhere. I say it's nice because it's a bit of weight in this. The way the bogies work, the wheels seem attached very nicely, but the funny thing is I know my son loves bits like this, and hey, I might end up just throwing it up into his box of trains and he can have it. The next is I've got some checkout Clarabels. Two of. These were very, very common in Australia. I know overseas, some people said we rarely ever saw these, or they feel they're rare. Back in 2007, man, every shop you went to, these things were jumping at you. Rah, buy me, buy me, buy me. The next one here is an odd bod because I get strange things thrown in. This is a knockoff tender from one of those horrible Dark Side sets. I mean, you can sort of laugh at this stuff, but sadly, this is the sort of stuff that makes you cry. It just breaks apart so easily. That's why this stuff is killers, because imagine if that went down a small child's throat. It'd be good night, sister. Okay, the next one is, it's Spencer. It's a wind-up Playrail. Hope I'm saying it right there. Okay, it seems like it's working. It's nice. Face looks excellent. Have another talk there for its little motor. It's got that there. It's the tender for... the name has just elapsed me at the moment. Why am I thinking Duke? You guys will know. Doesn't sound underneath, does it? No, I'm not that lucky. Okay, and this other very, very strange piece here, a mystery piece. Don't know what it's from. It's probably just generic something, but it did remind me of the Playrail system, strangely enough. You guys will know. Well, there's Spencer. As you can see, he's got a few problems. He's a bit embarrassing if he's like that. I'm trying to get him to go over to the other toys. They're both 2006, that piece and that piece, the mystery tender. Come on, Spencer. Oh, you've lost the other thing there. Off to the train wreck you are. Oh, he's coming back on me. No, you don't. Away you go. And while we're playing with wind-ups, maybe we'll take a look at this Thomas here next. Okay, this is a very, very nice earlier model of Thomas the Tank. It's got a classic face. Probably the only thing it's missing is a splash of white on the running board. Do you know the year of this one? It's actually underneath there. I think this is the second one of these that I've got. Although, when I first looked at these, I thought I had a knockoff. If we take a look under here, it shows us the date. Quite hard to read. I had to look through a magnifying glass. It actually says 1993. Well, I know that whenever I see stuff emanating from the early 90s, it's the golden era, really, of the Thomas toys. Very hard to find that era of toys. Almost impossible to find stuff from the 80s. It still works. Yeah, let's give this little Thomas a run. When hearing these strange sounds, I think I've got a snake in here. Just excuse me for a moment. I've just got to check here. Oh, you see the tail there? It goes there. Don't know if you saw that. I think it's gone. God, it's bad living in Australia sometimes. There it goes. It doesn't run too fast. That's fine by me. I'll get it to come towards camera as Thomas always does. Yeah. One more run because it's nice to let the old girl have a run. One more towards camera. Come on, Thomas. You can do it. Smile. It's really nice to have this Thomas model. The earlier stuff is a little bit hard to find, and it looks fantastic. Okay, a little bit of take a play and some take along splendor here. First one is Elizabeth. I think there's a piece missing here on the back. There's underneath, the date is 2003. This is nice. There'd be a lot of people out there who would desire this, I'm sure. Yeah, the next one was going to take a look at. It's 2009 Mattel. I remember I bumped into a mum in a store and she basically said, well, what she didn't like about the take and plays was there wasn't much rolling stock. Well, here is a piece of rolling stock. I think my son's got this one. There are two pieces of like electrical cable in a drum that go in there, and then you basically come along and you press the button there and it will deliver the drums to the side. Okay, well, it's back when we had bogies. Sort of seems like the bogies are being washed out of the shortened version of this toy now. Oh, there's also the thing at the bottom there you can push up. Never knew that. Anyway, it looks barely played with, which is a bit sad. There's another piece of rolling stock here. I didn't even look at the date on this one. Just feels light and plasticky. Be something recent if it's like that, isn't it? Yeah, you could lay stuff in there. Don't know what else to say about that apart from put it aside there. Here is James. It is take along. It's early. You can tell that by just the sheer weight. You can also tell by the face. Okay, this is a bit of an interesting one. It's had water damage. The tender there isn't as damaged, but that's not uncommon to see, because what I noticed with my boy is he would play with the engine and often the tender was left back in the box. Let's take a closer look at James and the damage that's going on here. Let's say this James has had a great game of splish, splash, splosh. And I say that because when I look around the model, I can start to see water damage. The back magnets, this is back when they had smart magnets, boys and girls. You don't get that today. But most notably is the axles are very, very rusted. It's a 2002 model. It is extremely small and very difficult to read. Also notice the rivets that hold the model together are corroding quite badly. But I tell you what, when I see axles like that, the next thing I know that happens is that quite often the metal will swell and then you'll start to see splits in the wheels, and then basically the wheels will fall off. I was just thinking, has James been redone in the new format with the new magnet? The way things are going now, I wonder if he's afforded these details still. These days you don't get cabin details. I don't know why things change and why things become less. Well, I do know why, but I don't know why children are given less these days. If you are going to collect this style of train, make sure you get into the take-alongs. There's a lot more metal in these. They're, in a sense, they're nice to build. Sure, they're a little bit distorted, but man, I certainly got used to these. When I saw how these played out and how my boy loved them, I started to understand this toy a bit more. You will find on eBay whole bags of these going fairly inexpensively. It's a cheaper toy to collect versus the early wooden and the Erdl, and I highly recommend maybe you consider the take-alongs, making sure you don't get caught up with take-and-plays. And just on the subject of take-alongs, and a bit of a tease into something that has just landed on me, we can't look at this until a future video. There's the take-along track, which I haven't got that much of, but most importantly, there is a whole bunch of the take-along figures in there, and like I've just said, I think they're the ones, if you are going to collect this style of trade, they're the ones to get into. What's nice about this bag is a lot of the trains in there look barely played with. I think you can always gauge that when you look at Thomas. If Thomas is in good nick, quite often all the others are going to be in good nick as well. Next we're going to take a look at is a bit of a mixed bag of Tomy and early Trackmaster. Okay, some Tomy Clarabels and he's in there. This is the 1992 Clarabel. It's the oldest one here. Tomy, that's what we like to see. That was the classic old days, wasn't it? Is there any difference between that and the 2002 Clarabel? I think the screw thing in the bottom is a little bit different. I know the hardcore fans will tell me the faces might be different. That one there is the 1992, that is 2002. And then these other ones here, I think these are Annie's 2002 as well. They're in pretty good condition. And I can't see any fluff around the axles like you would see if they've had a lot of use. Yeah, I've got actually lots and lots of these. Okay, I'll pick off these black guys here. I did have a bit of a sneak look underneath here when we get focused. There's no date. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really an expert. I think this is more recent stuff. I'm not into these no detail things. You can come in with a silver pen or a gold pen and you can mark them up a bit. I'm pretty sure I've showed that in a video. And I think once you've done that, or maybe put stickers on them, do something, but just get them out of their doldrums of being black. I mean, surely we could, have something a little bit nicer than that behind our choo-choos. And I'll come in and I'll pick off some more stuff which seems to land on me in great numbers. The only consolation about the older stuff like this is Tomy, but there's no date on it. I think it's Tomy, made in Thailand. Well, who knows? I'm just going to give up. All the most recent stuff is smaller now. It's slightly smaller. They've downsized it. Why they make things smaller, I do not understand. That one just says made in Thailand. Who knows? A little bit worn, those ones. This one here is another basically generic thing. I just think it says made in Thailand underneath. At least we've got a bit of door action there. The devil's in the detail. Rarely seen these days. Okay, getting into the nicer things. Anything like this, I mean, as soon as you put a face on something, well, it just lifts it, doesn't it? I think this is Tomy 2002. It's on the edge there. Yeah. Back when, well, things had faces. What is it? Just a faced wagon. Does that thing have a name? I mean, one little face on it. I mean, how hard is it to put a sticker face on something? And here is a Troublesome Truck. I've got quite a few of these. I've just put those logs in there which were floating around and the assortment of stuff that I got. The best aspect to this is, of course, the face. And there are a whole variety of different faces that came about with these. And also coloured trucks, as I've worked out, as I've collected along the way. What year have we got in this? 2002, which is there. Again, it hasn't had much work. It's a bit knocked around there on the top of the face, but hey, it's not too bad. And the other thing to look at, and I should have looked at the other wagon there, is sometimes these couplings get chewed out. That's sort of a bit like the weakest link, and I just lost the log. Yeah, these often get pulled up as well, pulled out. Like, just actually going back a truck, like that. Okay, that was maybe the little weakness of design in this coupling system. Actually, here's on this one here, and that's why he's laughing. Look at that, someone's chewed him out there. Yeah, imagine cutting your teeth on a Thomas and Friends coupling. And then there was one over there, and it's Percy, and last but by no means least, of course, this is the early Trackmaster Percy. And how do I know that? Well, you look under here and it says Hit Toy Company. There's no Tomy here. Okay. A little bit interesting, because it was a time when you could easily open up these toys and get into the battery. Some different systems came in to stop this from happening. I've already put a battery in this one. It was one of those ones that initially, well, actually came without a battery in it, so the battery compartment was in good nick, but it was one of the ones that had to give it a great big bang on the table to get working. Ah, what a comforting sound, hey? Yeah, it doesn't feel too bad. Sometimes when they're a little bit worn out, it's quite easy to stop the wheels, but nevertheless, these are nice, and I'm pretty sure when these were being sold, you got a piece of track with them as well, back when you got a bit of extra stuff when you bought a train. Very different times versus what we seem to get served today. And it's a nice opportunity to take a look at Percy's very cheerful face. Just had a look, the date on Percy is 2006, and I'll just give him a bit of a test here to see how his motor is. He's not too bad. He can push things along. And because he's Percy, he's going to leave us in a very different way by ramming into all that stuff there and cause confusion and delay. Okay, well, the next thing resides in this red box. It's a bit of a clue to what's inside the box, because there's a picture of the trains in there. I paid $10 for this. It was at a local fair, and it's from Germany. I think I would like this to go to someone who already collects these trains and trams. This stuff is actually quite nice. It's nice in the way that it is simple. Some of it has got dynamo motors. There's a lorry in here, which has got all sorts of fancy little bits of detail. Let me just get the rest of this stuff out so we can enjoy looking at these trains, trams, and let's not forget lorry. Well, here is one of the items. It's a Caboose, or we call it brake van in Australia. What it reminds me of, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a miniature version of basically LGB G-scale trains. Okay, that's what it's shouting to me. If I look underneath here, it starts to reveal what we're dealing with. Okay, it says Lehman friction motor Gnomy, made in West Germany. I hope I'm saying it correct. It says copyright, but there is no date under there. Well, of course, I've looked online, but I mean, I can't, there's a lot to read. I can't pick up all the information and jam it in my brain and start sounding like an expert. I know my audience is always going to be the expert on this. There'd probably be some people very excited to see this. I think for $10, what I've picked up is amazing. Now I start to see the prices on eBay. But like, I'm not going to, I mean, it's useless me having it. I really want it to go to someone who needs this stuff. And I can see that, well, the first thing I thought was when I saw this, it's not that dissimilar in scale to Trackmaster. Okay. Well, first let me introduce you to one of the little locomotives. It's very stylized in a sense. That's what it says underneath. Without me having to read it, I dare say you can work out what it says there. It's got a friction motor in there, metal wheels with a plastic covering. The traction tyres look like O-rings, would be the best way to describe it. So that's all the underneath. One weakness that I can see in the design is the coupling system. It's basically got like a pin that comes in here. On many of these models, the pin is broken. That's one which is together. Okay, that's the coupling system. Let me just give it a push along for you. Well, I'll try and show what it does. Let me just go back here and I'll push it forward. Yeah, it does that. Well, let me just move that one aside. Let me grab the blue one. I think it may work a tad better. Not much better, but a little bit more. Well, let me retire these locomotives. I think they've seen better days. I've got a funny feeling the tram works a-okay. Well, the tram's a two-part deal. There is the power car, and there's the one behind, where it's called. Pretty sure this is a Stinger. Yeah, oh, better save it from falling off the table. And if you thought that was lackluster, we can actually rev these things right up and it'd be like Speed Week. Whoa! Ouch. Track compatibility is sort of interesting. On wooden track, which is the classic toy train track system, they're very low clearance. That actually rides on the middle there. Let's try the classic Tomy Blue. And it actually gets caught up on the track joiner, which is sort of sad to see. On Trackmaster Classic, yeah, it does get over the join there. If that join isn't good, it will struggle. And on Trackmaster 2, surprise, surprise, it is the best track suited for this. I do wonder whether this had its own track system. It is semi-addictive fun hearing it whirring up that friction motor and letting it go. Whoa, whoa, train stack, and it's gone. We'll take a quick look over the tram or trolley car, as some people may call it. This is the powered one. It's actually fairly robust. It fell off the table here a few times. I was punishing it. I had a little bit of fun with it. Hey, that's what toys are all about, isn't it? Scary prices on eBay. I'm seeing as high as $40 just for one item. And down low, under 20, but looks a bit banged around. But mind you, that's buy it now auctions. They're not doing any natural auctions. I mean, this is nice. If you're a trolley car or tram collector, I mean, man, this would be a little pot of gold for you. I think the weak link in this is the coupling system, as you'll see on the other ones that we're going to show. This one's still intact. Very nice. A very curious find for me to find a local fair. These little friction motor engines, as I'll call them, one's got a coupling broken here, so this is the weak aspect to this little train system. It's nice. I see people doing conversions of these to make powered units, but the trams would be quite easy to do, I think, because there's plenty of room underneath them. Yeah, they make the right, that buzzing sound. I don't like it when friction motors do that. I think that's the end of the friction motor. Might be nice for spare parts for someone, or someone who keenly collects this may really, really like this sort of stuff. Have a quick flash of the rolling stock. Yeah, this is the problem. This has been repaired. So they put like a metal pin there and some glue. That's the part that's been breaking on them. Next one's like a bit of a tipper car. Yeah, it really does remind me of LGB, the big scale trains. And this is like the tiny version, like a miniature version of LGB. That's what's screaming at me. This one here, this is very nice actually. Very nice. I can imagine putting Lego minifigures in this. Gnomy? I hope I'm saying it correctly. Who knows, it's German. It could be Silent G's or whatever. I don't know. This one's, well, it's all nice, isn't it? Okay, but the doors, it's just been left open. They don't move, and on the other side, it's been like, to make it look real, I suppose, it's half closed, but it doesn't move. Yeah, maybe some of you have never seen this stuff before. Personally, I've never seen it before. I just picked it up as a chance thing. I thought, well, $10, how could I go wrong? Then when I looked on eBay, whoo! I just wanted to go to someone who deserves it, who likes this stuff, who collects it, and you've got to prove to me that you're into it as well, hey? I see videos of this stuff up on YouTube, so maybe one of those people can send me a video of their Gnomy stuff, and they can have all this as theirs. This little lorry is cute. There's a little brake there, I suppose. There's the front of it. The driver's on the front wheels. This friction motor is okay in this one. And that's what it looks like underneath. There you go, $10. The power of just going to Little Fate and finding something really nice. And it'd be really, really nice to connect to someone who likes this. I will be quite stringent in who gets this. They've really got to have videos of this, not someone saying, well, I've got a friend of a friend of a friend, and they're showing me pictures that aren't theirs. I will be very picky who ends up with this, and I think rightfully so, because I've got a funny feeling it's best to go to someone who really appreciates it, and not someone who's just going to hawk it on eBay, as so often happens. Don't forget, if you're keen on that, you have to prove to me via video on your channel, not someone else's, that you've got that stuff in the next episode. Whoopie-doo. Guess which company makes this? Probably to some people it's a no-brainer, but we'll take a look at that next episode. We'll also take a look at this on a bit of a theme of trams. I've actually got a couple of trams in the sightings. to be seen. And, well, speaking of trams, here comes another one. Whoa! Nice big wooden one. Look at that, it's actually quite large. And I've got Thomas up there because I think in this episode here, this Thomas is the one that clearly impressed me the most. I like the stuff which is from the earlier times because it is sort of so hard to get. Anyway, I better leave this collection video here. The next one's number 16, I hope. Thanks for watching and bye for now.